you guys want water.
Good evening. Welcome to the April 14th regularly scheduled Valley View School Board meeting. I would ask that you silence your phones, rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Member Baduras. Thank you. Welcome to Spirit Week, hence the jackets and what have you. I didn't know I could have worn my Cardinals jersey, but apparently that was the thing. So let's get down to the agenda. Board affirmation statement. Vice President Zach.
Our mission is to empower every learner to be college, career, and life ready to develop, grow, and achieve as a productive citizen.
Thank you. Agenda. Dr. Polson.
Yes, thank you, Board President Quigley. Tonight we are seeking your approval as the agenda is presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Student and staff recognition. Spotlight video. Diana Lugo, Independence Elementary, 5th grade school teacher.
As the video is getting queued up, we're excited to spotlight Miss Diana Lugo at Independence Elementary, who is a 5th grade dual language teacher.
When we have a 3D figure, the whole point of volume is we're trying to figure out how much we can fill or pack inside. That could be liquid. I like to think of it as liquid, right? How much water can go in there. And our volume formula is length times width times height. The environment I'm trying to create is one that's inclusive and one that's welcoming. And I feel like that's very, very important. And I also make sure that they have a lot of ownership when it comes to their learning. Now that they're 5th graders, they have more responsibility. I'm like, you can do this. You are telling me what you want. Like for the lesson that we're doing for math today, it's one that we are reviewing because I noticed that they still needed a lot of support. And at the end of the day on Friday, I asked them, what do you want to do for our lesson? What's gonna help you? What's gonna make you be successful? Y estoy viendo que 3 es lo largo. Entonces volumen es igual a 3. ¿Cuál es lo ancho?
Ancho es the width, right?
2, ¿verdad? Por 2 we might all be Latinos, but we all have sometimes different backgrounds. We all don't have the same family dynamics. So having them come here and know, like, when you are here, I am here for you. Your friends are here for you. We're all here for each other. Whatever else is happening out there, like, you can forget about it here, because right now, right here, this is all about you. And this is all about you being successful. And so I always seek to make sure that they see themselves in the curriculum, that they see themselves in me, they see themselves within their books, they see themselves within their friends, in order to create that environment where they feel confident, they feel welcomed, and they feel like they're included.
How do you help your students become empathetic citizens?
It's okay to have all these big emotions. Like, anything that they're feeling, everything is valid. I like to tell them that. Like, whatever you're feeling, it's okay to feel. It's normal. And whatever you're feeling, I bet you somebody else in this class is also feeling it as well. So I'm always telling them, like, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. Like, if you do this, what's going to be the effect? What effects are you going to have long lasting? Okay, so you might think that this is a joke, or you might think that this is funny, but how do you think other people feel? Would you like that?
Share with us what your experience was as a student, as a multi-language learner.
I had to be out of my comfort zone. I had to face a lot of challenges. And once I was able to do that, and I was able to learn the language and get a grasp of the language, I was able to flourish. I was able to grow a lot. And so being able to go through elementary, middle school, and high school with such amazing teachers that gave me the support was what made me the student and the teacher that I am today. One, because I felt comfortable to be myself and, like, take risks. And two, because of them, I was able to have role models that I'm like, I want to be like that when I grow up. I want to be a teacher like that. I want to be a teacher who accepts me for my mistakes and celebrates me when I make growth.
As we look around your classroom, on some days, even in your attire, we know that you are a person that is fascinated by Star Wars. Why?
I love Star Wars. It was like the biggest thing for me growing up. I remember when the prequels came out when I was younger, and that is literally, I would watch Revenge listen, all the time, and that's how I learned English. I would just watch the prequels over and over again, and you would think that, like, I was out here being like a little 7-year-old and being like, Anakin, this is not the way of the Force. And everybody's like, that's the things that you decide to learn for English. That's the first thing. But it really is such a huge thing. I saw myself in it because I love sci-fi. I love being the underdog. I love being like, the idea of becoming the hero even though you're the underdog. And I just loved it. The world building. The students know that I love my little Grogu, my little baby Yoda, so they're always bringing me like little baby Yoda stuff. But it really is seeing myself in, like, hey, like, I'm also an underdog. Like, I can also be a hero. I can be a Jedi. Oh my God, I can be a Jedi.
Which one of the 9 episodes is the best?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. Oh, that is so hard. That is so hard.
Have to pick one.
I have to pick one. It has to be Revenge of the Sith.
She gets an A for enthusiasm. Moving down the agenda, 5.2, Girls All State Romeoville High School. I think, are they up there? Yeah, they are. Come on down.
Good evening, everyone. For those who may not know who I am, my name is Devon Friend, and I am the new head girls basketball coach here at Romeoville High School. I would like to first off start by giving a special thanks to the board for having us here this evening. It's truly an honor to be here. I would also like to give a special thanks to Mike Strode, our athletic director, and Principal Derek Kinder for supporting our girls basketball program in the way that they do. I would also like to give a special thanks to Coach Devin Bates for taking me under his wing and entrusting me with the Romeoville Lady Spartans program. Just to give some context to everyone, last year our program had a historical season where we swept conference and we finished our 23-24 season with the record of 28-3. Now, I'm glad you guys are clapping because this season was a little different. Now, going into our 24-25 season, over 80% of our program would be freshmen. So going into this season, my coaching staff and myself knew that player development was going to be the primary focal point. And since Kazaria was one of our returning players from the previous season, I had a one-on-one conversation with her in the very beginning of the season. In this conversation, I basically expressed that this season would definitely be focused around teaching for our program, and I informed her that her role as one of our two leaders would be crucial and extremely important for setting the tone and the standard for our younger girls in our program. Kazaria, of course, would gladly accept her role, but she would far exceed it and all the expectations we had as a coaching staff. Kazaria, with that being said, she had a tremendous 24-25 season. She averaged 29 points this season. She was Max Prep's #2 scorer in the state. Just to give some context on some of her crazy performances, she had 58 points against Thornwood in the Oaklawn Thanksgiving tournament. She had 39 of those points at halftime. She had 46 points against Naperville Central, 42 points against Joliet West, 41 points against Plainfield South, 39 points against Oswego, and she would also have 2 other 37-point games this season. She was ranked top 60 in the state, according to Girls Prep Hoops. She was also nominated #1, first team all-conference. She was also nominated first team all-tournament in all 3 tournaments that we had this season, averaging 30 points in all 3 tournaments. She was also named Prep Girls Hoops Dr. Dish National Player of the Week. And she was a nominee for Sports Illustrated Most Underrated Girls High School Basketball Players in the Country. Now, with all that being said, she would also conclude this season, of course, making 3rd team All-State. So, with all that being said, I'm very humble to be here serving in the capacity, of course, as coach for our young ladies here. I am also extremely proud of Kazaria Smith for being a great example of what a true student athlete, both on and off the court, looks like. I am also extremely excited for what the future of this game of basketball holds for her. I wish her nothing but the best this AAU season, and I cannot wait for what is in store her 24-25 senior season. Congrats, Z.
All right, IESA Girls Volleyball State Qualifier, Brooks Middle School.
All right, good evening, good evening. Thank you, Board President Quigley, esteemed board members, senior leadership, and Dr. Paulson, as well as our community members. My name is Patrick McGinnis, and I am the proud principal of Brooks Middle School. I'm excited to be here tonight to recognize our 8th grade IESA Girls State Qualifying Volleyball team. Let's give them a round of applause. These young ladies are leaders both on the court and in the classroom. We are so proud of their accomplishments, and we are excited to take time tonight to recognize their achievements. I would also like to take a moment to recognize our coaching staff, Coach Broad and Coach P. Coach P is a leader in our PE department here, or at Brooks Middle School, and is also a coach. He coaches 3 sports at Brooks and has been at Brooks for a while now, right? Coach P has worked hard. He is now currently in track season, and he is a leader with our staff and with our community as a whole. So without further ado, Coach P to introduce our girls.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Wood, parents, and all our guests. I promised Mr. McGinnis I'm not going to go off script. Too late. I already did. So here we go. First of all, thank you. See, this is the part that stinks, because I always tell my kids, men don't cry, they sweat through their eyes, okay? So if you ever see anybody out there and that's like, hey, stop sweating, it's okay, you're gonna be all right. All right, just a huge thank you. First to my wife, putting up with me, okay? 3 sports, that's not easy. Those of you who have spouses that are coaches, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Next, secondly, thank you to all the parents for their dedication. I've had parents drive for over an hour just to get their kids to a game that was more or less meaningless, but they were at a tournament, they still wanted to make it, so this is why we're here, because that dedication from the parents and from the students kind of is reflected by everything. So thank you so much to all the parents who have made all the trips with us. Finally, a few things about these girls. 3.74. Maybe other than the Scholastic Bowl, I dare any team to beat that. Okay, good luck. This is the cumulative GPA of our team. 6 of the girls are above 4.0. Yep. And we always talk about the definition of a student athlete. Well, there they are. Okay. Their grit, hard work, and class was perfectly matched with the same dedication on the court. All right. So let's go ahead and meet some of the outstanding representatives of our Valley View Brooks Middle School. First, I also would like to give a big shout out to Coach Broad. He's the one that coached them in 7th grade. They came 1 game away from being where these girls made it. And I think that made them so tough and so determined to be here this time. He's having a baby any hour, so we're gonna give him a break, okay? All right, so we have 2 athletes who were not able to make it out here, so I'm gonna acknowledge them first. Aria Suberi, she was our right side, and Alexis Harvin, she was also our right side. No, I'm not nervous at all, it's okay. You guys are fine. All right, here we go. Starting off, I have 5 7th graders. So we might be seeing you guys again next year. So you guys got big shoes to fill. Don't disappoint. Here we go. So first one, let's introduce the 7th graders who will be back. Our libero, Ellie Rodriguez. Outside, Sierra Younglove. Our DS, Vanessa Sprinciana. Setter, Mila Weiss. And our middle, Chloe Romero. And now our outstanding 8th graders who are going to do awesome at the high school. So, Miss DeSurf, you're welcome. All right. Our outside, Maya Vergara. Setter, Saraya Stockley. Middle, Madison Reed. Middle, Danity Ball. Outside, one of our captains, Sienna Cannon. DS, Mia Vargas. all around. You need a player? Put her there. Isabel De La Torre. And our middle, Samira Tambajang. Thank you.
All right, moving down the agenda, bowling state qualifiers, Humphrey, Lukanczyk, Martinez Middle Schools.
Hello, everyone. I am Coach Martin. I am the middle school bowling coach, and this is Mr. Alan Kirkland with me. Last year, we launched a pilot bowling program here at Lukanczyk, and to our excitement, we did have 2 students last year who qualified for state. Building on that momentum, we did expand it to an entire district program, and we have every middle school represented in our bowling program. So there is a child from every single middle school bowling in our program. From opening this district-wide initiative, we welcome 30 new young athletes, each proudly representing one of our 5 middle schools. What makes our program truly special isn't just what happens on the lanes, it's the incredible support from our community. Through bowling, we've brought our district together as one unified family. Parents have been there every step of the way, showing up to practices and tournaments, ensuring their children have the right equipment, and encouraging them to thrive. But this program goes far beyond the strikes and spares. We've built a community where we share stories, triumphs, challenges, and state qualifiers. Of our 30 bowlers, half have never competed before, and many started by bowling with family and leagues and learning from a parent who loved the game. There have been many athletes who grew tremendously, participating in multiple tournaments, earning scholarship money that they can use later on in their collegiate career, and gaining much experience. Every athlete on our team is officially a sanctioned bowler by USBC. We practice hard, yes, thank you, it's a huge honor for them. We practice really hard, learning not just technique and lane etiquette, how to score, but how to compete with integrity. Now it is time for me to recognize our 5 state qualifiers. I'm going to give you their season high, and their season high is out of 300. So the highest score that you can get in a bowling game is 300. So if you hear anything over a 2 or close to it, that is a phenomenal game, if you're not an avid bowling scorer. All right, the first student today is Devin Kirkland. He has a season high of 275. He is a state qualifier, a first place at Homer Invite 2 years in a row. Devin advanced to the state finals this year, and that medal he is wearing was from him placing 8th overall in the entire state of Illinois. Our next athlete is Valerie Kay with a high game of 232. Valerie is a state qualifier. She placed 4th in the Homer Invite out of 62 students and 8th in the Troy Invite. She also placed 8th overall at state and earned herself an IESA medal for our district. Our next athlete is AJ Dole with a high game of 213. A state qualifier who placed 9th in the Homer Invite and 8th at the Troy Invite. AJ also qualified for state finals. Our next athlete is Ariana McCollum, a high game of 203. She's a state qualifier, placed 10th at state, earning herself a medal. Ariana also placed 28th at the Troy Invite and 14th at the Homer Invite. She also made it to state finals. And our last athlete here with us tonight is Brandon Kay. Brandon is our only 5th grader to qualify for state. Brandon has a high game of 219. He placed 7th in the Homer Invite, 13th in the Troy Invite, and not only qualified for state, but made it to the finals as a 5th grader. And I also want to show you what the impact of working hard and showing up and providing this program to our students means. We have one student, the first week of bowling, she averaged 61 as her score. At sectionals, she bowled a 151. We are incredibly proud of every one of these student athletes. Their dedication, perseverance, and love for the game have been nothing short of inspiring. With the overwhelming success of the program in such a short time, we really hope that we can work towards recognizing IESA bowling as a sport. Bolingbrook High School and Romeoville High School will be fortunate to have these athletes that stand before you today. Join me in congratulating their phenomenal efforts.
I know I couldn't bowl 203. Moving down the agenda, Treasurer's Report. Mr. Renich, if you would, please.
Thank you. The Treasurer's Action Report 6.1 for the month of March includes the normal schedule of financial reports, balance sheet, summary of revenue, expenditures, interim obligations, and debt service payments totaling $10,748,471.63 payments for your approval.
Is there a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Buduris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. 6.2, Mr. Renich.
Schedule of bills for the month of April, we have 7 funds totaling bills payable $5,304,631.66 for your approval.
For a motion?
So moved.
Motion, seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Buduris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Mr. Renich, 6.3.
In your packet, you have 6.3, a summary of investments for the month of March, along with 6.4, state funding update, 6.5, all schools trust account activity. This is an informational agenda item.
As always, if you have any questions on those items, talk to Mr. Renich. Moving down the agenda, consent agenda items. Dr. Polson.
Yes, thank you, President Quigley. Tonight we are seeking your approval on 8 consent agenda items. That is 7.1, board meeting minutes from March 24th, 2025. 7.2, executive session meeting minutes, March 24th, 2025. 7.3, gift for Beverly Scoff Elementary School. 7.4, recommendation to extend related services contract for Easter Sales, Joliet region. 7.5, Romeoville High School trip. 7.6, the gift for Jamie McGee Elementary School. 7.7, gifts for Romeoville High School. And 7.8, gifts for A. Vito Martinez Middle School.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Buduris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Moving down the agenda, liaison reports. Any and all from my right? Any and all from the left? None? Quick update in Springfield legislative update, legislative liaison. The Illinois General Assembly is on vacation this week. The House will return the following week, and the Senate will take another week off. As I recall, they have moved about 650 pieces of legislation from one house to the next, which will start when they get back. There is ongoing budget discussions about the amount of revenue the state of Illinois may have. Obviously, if they have less money, that could impact revenues for education. We will continue to keep an eye on that as the session winds down. So that is that. Audience participation. Is anybody? Oops. Oh, I'm sorry, student ambassador. James Estrada, please give us what you got.
Thank you.
Thank you. First off, good evening, members of the board, senior council, and to the community. Thank you all for coming out. First, let us start with a moment of silence to honor Mrs. Natalie White, our beloved RHS Dean of Students. Thank you. Next, welcome to our first annual VVSD-wide Spirit Week. Make sure to follow along with the unity across the community with the hashtag VVSDUnited. Now, next, thanks to the Romeoville and Bolingbrook High School staff and students for completing their first digital ACT last week. So we can give a round of applause for them. Next, thank you to Vice President Zach and Secretary Sikora for their time on the board. Can we get another round of applause for them? Good luck to the Skills USA from both high schools at the state meet. Following Skills USA, our spring sports are in full swing, so make sure to check out the school website for more details on schedules. I've heard both high schools are doing exceptionally well this year. Next, seniors, the final last 6 weeks of school before graduation are upon us. Let's make sure to finish our senior year strong. Next, Talk Day is going to happen at our house tomorrow on Tuesday. Make sure to pay attention to any updates for more information on what happens. Next, congratulations to our younger schools for completing their IAR state testing. We are all proud of you. This goes out to especially community and family. Make sure to download Student Square and Parent Square to keep up with school news. Next, BHS Ambassador Jarrell Tipe won first place for his short fiction story at the Southwest Prairie Conference Literary Festival. And BHS's FCCLA, or Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, just finished up at state, and Isabel Scott placed first in charcuterie, another one of our BHS ambassadors. Moving on to old business, BHS and RHS student ambassadors visited their own respective elementary and middle schools to take pictures with the hashtag VVSDUnited. For new business, sophomores, make sure to keep an eye out for applications to be sent out by your schools to become a student ambassador. And now for my final sign-off. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who made the Board Ambassadors program possible. Back in December of 2023, when I first spoke in front of the board, I believed I was helping lay the groundwork for future students of VVSD. So to now be sitting here after visiting schools across the district and helping set the stage for future generations of Valley View students has been nothing short of amazing. Thank you to everyone who supported us throughout the way. Just to name a few, the goated and honorable support of Mr. Herder, Mrs. Eamon, Mrs. Gage, Mrs. Capter, Mrs. Ogle, Vice Principals Mrs. Agizio and Mrs. Smith, and Principal Kinder. And of course, thank you to my mom and dad for always supporting and challenging me to be the best I could be in this role. Speaking of my dad, he doesn't know this, but he inspired me to take this position with a simple phrase he's told me since I was a kid for all of my life. If it's worth doing once, it's worth doing right. With that said, I have to be honest. I didn't always live up to that saying. As I'm sure you all know, the duties of the student ambassadors shifted completely throughout the year. There were moments when, instead of clear guidance and space to create ideas that could better support student life, we were left confused about what we could actually do while maintaining school support. We joined the board to help improve the district. That mission includes embracing hard conversations and acknowledging different perspectives, especially around the conditions faced by students, staff, and the wider community. I'm incredibly proud that we were able to move forward with the district-wide Spirit Week. But I'll also say this, the time and effort it took to make even that small victory feel heavier than it should have. Speaking for myself, this year felt underwhelming in terms of what we accomplished. However, we have learned a lot. We learned that while there is a lot of unity within our community, there's still hate. We've seen students try to raise their voice and get targeted at board meetings. Students of different races, members of the LGBTQ+ community, and students from different economic backgrounds. To those students and to the community members affected by those comments, we know that we stand with you. And to those... And to those who judge or target others for being different, I hope you take this as a chance to grow, to understand that different does not mean wrong. Many of you here today know what happened at the last board meeting, so I won't rehash it. But I will say this, the events of that evening go deeper than just that moment. Since then, the biggest request I've heard from students, faculty, and community members alike has been simple: clarity based on facts. From what I've seen as a student ambassador, I can say this: politics and favoritism have stirred a lot of emotions that we've seen at board meetings, from the beginning of the year, even before then, and still today. I'm leaving a lot out, and I know some may be frustrated by what I've said, but I speak from my perspective and with the input of community members we were asked to listen to from day one. As we kick off our first annual district-wide Spirit Week, let's remember the unity and diversity that makes VVSD special. To the community, to students, and especially my fellow ambassadors, I leave you with this: challenge the status quo. Hear your own voice. Know when to say enough is enough. Call out those who should be held accountable. So don't be afraid to be uncomfortable, because if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing right. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Moving down the agenda, audience participation. If you wish to address the board this evening, please just be kind to announce your name and where you're from. Please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. If you're saying something, there's a lot of people who want to speak this evening. If you're saying something that's already been said, please encapsulate your comments. This is not necessarily a back and forth between the board. We are here to listen to what you have to say, and we will obviously observe decorum. So if people are speaking, please, in the audience, let them speak and say their piece, and everyone else will have the same opportunity. So with that said, please come on down, state your name, where you're from.
Hello. I'll scoot over here so y'all can see me. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, and all of these amazing community members who have joined us. My name is Elena, and I come before you tonight both as a parent of multiple students in Valley View School District and as the founder and chair of Bolingbrook Pride. I'm here to speak in strong support of the district's inclusive, affirming policies for transgender, non-binary, and gender-diverse students. There has been a recent complaint filed against this district and our state school board, asserting that policies supporting transgender students are in violation of Title IX. But let me be clear, these policies save lives. They create safety, belonging, and dignity for every student, which is the very spirit of Title IX. This complaint weaponizes fear and misunderstanding in an attempt to roll back protections that countless students rely on to simply exist and learn without fear. But fear is not a valid legal argument, and it's certainly not a justification to deny any child the right to use the bathroom, join a sports team, or be addressed by the name and pronouns that reflect who they are. Our school district has done the hard work of listening, learning, and leading with compassion. Your policies acknowledge that students thrive when they are seen, heard, and affirmed. You've sent a message to every LGBTQ+ student that they matter. That message is not just brave, it's necessary. As a mother, I want all children, including mine, to grow up in a world where kindness wins over cruelty and inclusion wins over ignorance. And as someone who works every day to create a safer, stronger, more united community, I know that this district is on the right path. Please do not allow fear-based rhetoric to derail the incredible progress we have made. Stand firm in support of our LGBTQ+ students. Uphold these affirming policies. Let the community continue to be a place where every student, regardless of gender identity, can learn, grow, and be their authentic self. Thank you for your leadership, your courage, and your care. I encourage everyone here to stand up and applaud our wonderful district. Thank you all for being here.
Hello, my name is Allison Wold. I'm back. And just for the record, I do have stage fright, and this is my third time speaking at the board meeting. I am here to speak on behalf of I've been a longtime LGBTQ ally and a proud parent of a trans son that attends school here in the district at Jane Addams Middle School. And without the support of Valley View and the professionals at Jane Addams, I don't know if we would be in the place that we are. They have made sure that my son is safe. If we've had concerns, they've addressed them right away. And so we are so very happy for Valley View and the staff that are with them, and we really appreciate them. They've actually a couple of staff have called us out as parents, trying to move us along in the right direction. So thank you so very much for all that you do. Thank you again.
Hey there, my name is Bob Scorzina. I'm a lifelong Bolingbrook resident. I promised myself I wouldn't cry, but then you went and thanked your dad, and no one ever thanks their dad. And that's awesome, so thank you for that. We didn't give birth or nothing, but we were there. I'm not a public speaker at all. I'm a writer, and writers hate talking out loud, but more importantly, I'm a father, and if it wasn't for this school district, I don't know if my daughter would be here. My parents closed on their house in Bolingbrook in October of 1979, and I came along a month later. I was quite literally born into Valley View School District. I was raised in it, I thrived in it. I attended Northview Elementary, B.J. Ward when it was still a middle school, and Romeoville High School. I was readied for life beyond the classroom by every type of instructor and teaching method, oftentimes tailored directly to my learning style, which was always difficult. I never felt I was anything other than valued and safe. It's why I was so eager to enroll my children here. But I'm not here to talk about myself. I simply felt the fact that the individual and the unique experience is what VVSD has always valued should be kept front of mind this evening. But my kids, they're the reason I'm here, and my trans daughter in particular. Gender fluid since she was able to emote, my daughter has never backed down from being who she truly is. In 2018, she came back from summer break with a new pair of gym shoes, clothes, a new backpack, and a new name and set of pronouns. Before the year started, I took her teacher aside to give the heads up on all the newness. I was planning on speaking to the principal next, but was assured that I had nothing to worry about, and by the next morning, everything would be just fine. As any parent would, of course, I went right away and called the principal anyway. Before I could ask any questions, though, Mr. Valenza, who was just amazing, told me everything I needed to know. Everything really had been taken care of. I had nothing to worry about, and neither did my child. Any parent knows how emotional it can be to hear the words, "Your child is loved and will be protected." But when your kid is trans, there's an added weight that you can really feel. This protection continued throughout her time at McGee, with every teacher being open to her specific situation and willing to adapt where needed, even if they didn't always quite know how. The move to Adams was smooth, and she was met with an equal amount of love and understanding. And I could list the teachers who touched our lives since 2018, but I don't have enough time here. The number is great, to be sure, and is not limited to those who had her as a student. She's in high school now, and there have been some small issues, as anyone would expect there to be. But at the start of every year since 2018, the counselors from McGee, Adams, and BHS have reached out to me before I thought to reach out to them, checking on my daughter, the family, life in general, when they really should have just been on summer break like everyone else. Her school is quite literally a safe space, as every school in this district has proven to be. All 4 of my children have either been through or are currently enrolled in the district, and I never hesitate to see them off in the morning or sign a permission slip. Valley View School District keeps children safe. Now, I started this talk here with a personal experience, and I did this because I know what I was taught then in the 80s and the 90s. And I know that it's still being actioned now because I am imparting the lessons I learned here to my children today. So please don't lose sight, ever, of the life-changing and life-affirming impact that a loving, welcoming, safe environment has on a child and their parent. Cis or trans, we are all just here to learn. I added a little something on the end here about 5 minutes after I sat down. I overheard the opposing side of the issue earlier say that school administrators are too afraid to speak up on this issue. I disagree. This gentleman's not even looking at me, but this is about this gentleman. I think administrators and teachers alike are showing what it means to be an educator, which is to support and respect every student, every single student. I've known I wanted to be a father since I was a kid myself, and I don't care if I have a boy or a girl, and I still don't. I'm just proud to be a dad, and I refuse to hate my kid for living their truth, unlike some other folks in this room. Thank you for your time.
Man, that's a lot to follow. My name's Louis. My wife is a staff member in the district, and once again, I want to thank the board for allowing the public to speak. I was here last time, and I just had a follow-up question. One of the things I brought up was there's not a security guard at every school, and I was told that it was going to be looked into, and then I was really disappointed to see it wasn't on the agenda today. So I was just seeing what the board has to say, if there's an update on making sure every school in the district has security guard. Awesome. So you're saying that every school is going to have one? Because I know there's more than one school.
So just to be clear, if I can interject, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for reapproaching. Yes, for an update, it is posted for that school that you were talked about, and every school will have support.
That's good, right, Ray?
Thank you.
Sweet. I will give the floor back to time because that's what I want to take care of. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. Thank you for letting us speak tonight. I am, two reasons, because, you know, I'm Mama Bear.
Can you get your name in the record, please?
I apologize. My name is Kate McConnell.
Thank you.
And I am a Bolingbrook resident and VVSD parent. You know, when we moved here 14 years ago, we moved to Bolingbrook specifically because of its diversity. And I truly believe now, as I did then, that hate and discrimination are not worthy of Bolingbrook, and they're not worthy of VVSD. And so I do appreciate the board and our schools and our administrators and teachers following the law and protecting our kids. Kids should always be safe. Schools should be a safe place for our kids, and a place where they can be themselves and focus on learning, because that's what they're there for. The other reason I am here tonight, I'm not sure how many people know that April is Autism Awareness Month, and I am a very proud mom of an amazing kid on the spectrum, and so I would like to thank, really, he's a 5th grader at Pioneer, so I'm also a proud Pioneer Timberwolf mom, and he's a 5th grader, so he's about to go to Brooks. And it seems like a good time to publicly thank the people who have been instrumental in his journey and the amazing success he's had. Starting with Rhonda Pulley, his 2nd grade teacher, who really was the driving force behind getting his 504 in place, advocating for him and continuing to support him even, you know, he's 3 years out of her class and they're still buddies. Then he had Mrs. Amy Rappel, who has gone on, she's back at her home school, and I apologize, I cannot remember which one that is, but I think he likes her more than he likes me. She really gave him confidence and was his first challenge teacher and really made him just feel like the amazing kid he is. Therese Walters and Mrs. Hanahan, Kim Hanahan, for encouraging him last year to advocate for himself, and also gave him the space and time to give a presentation in front of both his challenge class and his regular room class about autism, and to advocate for himself and other kids on the spectrum and teach his peers what autism is. Katrina Bellocchio and Danielle Nigro, who are support folks at Pioneer, I like to think that they are me when I can't be there. They take care of him in his most difficult moments, and you know, I've never gotten the sense that they don't love him like he's their own. And then on top of all that is Mr. Pinciak, the principal, who has been very open and helpful for my husband and I as a source of support, and also obviously leading a very, very great team over there at Pioneer. So thank you. Thank you.
Hold on here, start my timer. My name is Sam Arrington. I have a granddaughter, beautiful granddaughter, and my awesome 28-year-old daughter who grew up in 365U. It's an incredible system of people that do what you guys do. We appreciate you. I want to go on record saying that all those bowlers up here bowled higher than I ever did. I've never, ever even broke 200. That's pretty incredible. I want to address the young man that spoke earlier, you, handsome dude, curly hair. You're right, enough is enough. And we're outnumbered today a little bit. I see everyone out there with the flags and stuff. We're outnumbered, so I'm the minority today. See, here comes the tolerance. I love it. I let every one of you guys speak, so please give me my time. I want to say one thing. Silence leads to tolerance. Tolerance leads to acceptance. And your acceptance will lead to laws telling you how you have to feel and act and be in everyday society. You will lose your freedoms if you do not get up and start speaking. Should a diabetic go to a restaurant and because they can't have sugar, should they demand that that restaurant get rid of all sugar to accommodate that person? Should an alcoholic who suffers from alcoholism, should they walk into a bar and be like, hey, accommodate me, get rid of all the alcohol in this building because I can't handle it emotionally? Is that how we're to act? We're gonna let boys in the bathrooms? I wanna ask all the fathers up here to claim to love their daughters. Would you be okay if someone up here started getting naked in front of your daughter? No, yes they are. If they go in the bathroom, they will get naked in front of your daughter. You are a liar.
Hey, folks.
Okay?
We're not doing this.
Okay, that's
Please.
all I'm saying. I'm
We're
very
not doing the
passionate.
back and
So,
forth.
These men, these boys, these biological boys, you're gonna allow them to go in and get naked in front of our kids? Are we that far gone now? Where does this stop, guys? Where does this plateau? Next thing you know, we're gonna be okaying pedophilia? We're already letting kids pretend to be furries. We are letting kids be furries. Silence. I
Folks,
request
stop,
your silence.
please.
I don't care. Offensive? You know what? It's funny. All your shirts all say humble, kind, love everyone, but you don't love me right now, do ya? That's right.
Sir.
That's
hey,
right.
Folks,
So,
hey.
Listen, there is no evidence. We are doing all this.
Sir, give me a second.
Okay.
You're here to address the board. You're not here to address the audience.
Right. Well, I kind of got called into it,
No,
so I apologize
no.
to you. So let me address you so I don't lose any
And
more
folks
time.
out there, please let him say his piece. You're entitled to the same. This is not a back and forth debate.
We're
here
doing
to
a
hear
lot
your
of this,
comments.
right? Because we don't want teen suicides. We want to prevent teen suicides. We're trying to accommodate these children. I want it to be a dinosaur, man. Listen, let these kids get 18. Let them grow up. And at 18, let them decide what they want to be. More power to you. But don't twist and manipulate their mind when they are impressionable. Leave our kids alone. Please. Leave them alone. There is no study, not one that's ever been done, that WPATH, W-P-A-T-H, World Professional Association of Transgender Health, set out to do a study about suicide. And did you know they could find no conclusive evidence that letting your child transition will save their life? Not one study. We are going down a path of irreversible evil and harm. We are accepting evil in 2025. This is sick. All these men getting up here speaking today, they don't have the courage to look at their kids and say, hey, I love you and I'm going to support you, but you're a boy or you're a girl. You were born in God's image. That's what men should do. That's what real men do. That's what real men of courage do. And I'll tell you what, man. The amount of thunderous applause reminds me in the Bible when they all crucified Jesus. When he died.
Can you bring your comments to a close, please?
When Jesus died, it was all, when he was hung and he was speared, his side was speared and his thorns were in his hands and his ankles. They all, with thunderous applause, applauded that evil.
Please bring your comments to a close.
Maybe it should be, buddy.
Your 5 minutes is up.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Please let everybody speak their piece. Thank you. Hi, please state your name, where are you from?
Hi, my name is Cameron. I'm a Bolingbrook resident. My name's Cameron. I'm a Bolingbrook resident, and I am a transgender man. I am here today. Thank you. I am here today as someone who came out and transitioned in high school and as a citizen who is concerned about current transgender youth. I came out at 16 years old in 2011. Coming out as a young person was really difficult. I lost a lot of friends. My own home felt scary and uncertain. I was suddenly forced to advocate for myself to everyone in my life for things that were given to everyone else without a second thought, like the right to have my name used and be referred to in a way that felt comfortable and right. Navigating these difficulties immediately became a significant part of my everyday life. It was exhausting and stressful. As hard as it was, I was encouraged by the forward progress I saw both locally and nationally. I assumed that in another decade, trans kids wouldn't have to deal with nearly as much as I did. I am devastated and deeply disappointed to tell you that the environment now for trans people, especially for trans children, is definitively worse and downright dangerous, more so than it was when I came out 14 years ago. I want to be perfectly clear here. The most distressing parts of my experience were not related to transitioning itself or to anything that was going on internally. It was dealing with the negative reactions that other people had towards me because I was trans. I was insulted, isolated, threatened, watched, and sexually assaulted on the basis of my trans identity. I was constantly asked to justify who I was to everyone around me. This isn't just my story. I have met and spoken with hundreds of trans people in the time since, and virtually all of them tell me the same thing. The internal experience of being trans, of having gender dysphoria, can certainly be difficult, but with the right support and resources, it is also often joyful and cathartic. But unfortunately, because of how trans people are often treated in society, we have significantly higher rates than the general population of homelessness, experiencing violence, self-injury, and suicide. This was already true when I was a teenager. Now we have more and more high-profile stories and groups painting trans people as insidious, dangerous liars simply because we have a life experience that is not readily understood by other people. I understand that there are concerns about the validity of the identity of trans children and the idea that they will regret transitioning in the future. But I want you to consider two things that I almost never hear brought up when these things are talked about publicly. First, who is more likely to have insight on the long-term outcomes of trans children? Non-trans people who do not associate with and often don't even personally know any trans people? Or people like me who have lived through it are coming out on the other side many years later to tell you about it? As difficult as my experience has been, I have never for a single second regretted transitioning because through all of those adverse experiences, I was living authentically as who I am and not who others told me I had to be. Now, secondly, I want you to consider the kind of conviction that it takes for a child to see the way that trans people are treated, to know that it will happen to them too if they come out, and still decide that the alternative of not coming out is worse. Trans kids are not confused. In fact, for many of us, transitioning is what made our lives come into focus and what gave us purpose. Being trans is not a choice. The choice that trans people make is to live our lives as ourselves at great personal cost. Wherever you stand on this issue, I will tell you without a doubt that isolating and excluding students from any aspect of the typical school experience on the basis of being trans will negatively impact both their mental health and academic performance. Now, ultimately, we don't want anything crazy or unreasonable. We simply want to participate in society the way everyone else does without a magnifying glass examining our every action. We want to be able to walk into a public restroom or locker room and not fear verbal or physical assault. 14 years into my transition, every time I go into a public bathroom, I am afraid. Every time. We want to go a single day without the news telling the public that we are nefarious crooks because we dared to live our lives in an unfamiliar manner. But because of an aspect of ourselves that we did not choose, we are treated as second-class citizens. Now, what I've heard repeatedly from the community, both inside this room and out, is that Valley View School District thus far has done a fantastic job of supporting their diverse body of students. It is my sincere hope, but as a community member and as someone who has personally experienced being a trans child, that the board will not bend to intimidation and misrepresentation by a hate group that seeks to further harm children who are already incredibly vulnerable. Being a child, thank you. Being a child is hard enough. The school's job is to make it easier and to give support to all students, whatever their struggles may entail. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to speak with me after the meeting concludes. Thank you for your time.
Hi, please state your name, where you're from, and
My name
keep
is Eric
comments
Reeb. I
brief.
use he, him pronouns. I no longer live in district, but I grew up in Bolingbrook and I'm a product of the Valley View schools. I now live in Oak Park. I attended Jonas Salk Elementary, Hubert H. Humphrey Middle School, and I graduated from BHS, class of '91. First, I want to thank the board, and the school board members and the staff at the schools for their service. I want to thank you for following the laws that protect our trans youth. These kids have basic human rights and the law on their side. They're going to have history on their side too. And they're going to need you to stay on their side. If you give these bigots an inch, they'll take miles. They're just starting with the trans kids because they're the most vulnerable. Their list of demands include, and I'm not kidding you, I'm quoting these from a document posted to the Awake Illinois website. Let's see. They want the President Trump official 2024 picture labeled President of the United States, posted in every gateway of all VVSD buildings. They want to take down every rainbow flag. They want to have only US and state flags and college banners. They're really obsessed with flags. They want to, the flagpoles at all VVSD sites doubled in height. They want to establish a Doge manager at VVSD. And this, I don't understand this part. Secret society activities should be identified and must end now. Give them nothing. They're crackpots and bigots and wannabe tyrants. You've got a wide community here who will stand beside you to back up our trans youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Evening.
Hi, my name is Pat Green. I'm from Willowbrook, Illinois, but I grew up in Bolingbrook. I was Romeoville High School, class of '88. Before that, I went to Jane Addams. Before that, I went to Independence, and before that, I went to Valley View because there wasn't even an Independence yet. I wanted to thank you for the progress that you've made. One of the most amazing things about growing up in Bolingbrook that I didn't understand that I had until I grew up older was how beautiful the diversity was and how mixed and accepting and diverse we were. When I found out I was going to be a parent, my ex-wife and I, who graduated from Romeoville High School, class of '91, decided that we were going to move to Bolingbrook. This is where we were going to raise our child so that they could have those same experiences. Unfortunately, we weren't as evolved back then when it came to LGBTQIA+ issues. When Harvey came out in 8th grade, I ended up getting a phone call. They were taken away by ambulance with 4 staples right on along the hairline shoved into a locker display. And then freshman year, the bullying started. They went to homecoming with a bunch of their friends, and they didn't feel safe from some upperclassmen, so they did what they were told to. They went to an adult. The adult back then, again, this was a different time, said, maybe if you weren't different, this wouldn't happen. I get this call from my kid at night. If you're a parent, you know that there's the cry when they're just upset, and you know that there's the one that is sheer, utter terror, and that sends a chill down your spine. I had to get them and their friends out of there. And the support services that we didn't have were not there. There was a different board, there was a different superintendent, and there were different principals who knew me, and they hated it when I came in. But at the end of freshman year, Harvey was having suicidal ideations. They were cutting, and their grades had slipped down to next to nothing. So I had to sell so that my kid could go to Hinsdale South in a neighborhood I couldn't afford, and by people that I didn't want to be around because they weren't Bolingbrook. They were just very, very freaking white and loved their lattes. But here's the amazing thing. Sophomore year, that light came back. That smile came back. The grades came back. My God, with all of those AP credits, we saved money on half a semester at NIU, where they graduated summa cum laude. And what do they do now? They work for an organization on the front lines of domestic violence and sexual assault. They used to work intake at the center for residents. Now they go from school district to businesses and explains to them what sexual assault is, what domestic violence is, how to recognize the signs, what to do about it. They're a healer. They're making a difference. And it breaks my heart that 365U doesn't get to claim credit for it. Pilates and Lattes Hinsdale does. It cost a lot to be able to support my child through that. Legal bills, medical bills, psychology. My retirement plan is now going to involve the words "welcome to Walmart" at this rate. But it was worth it. But along the way, over the years, I worked with Elena and a lot of the other parents here because this is still my home. And I've seen the changes you've made. I hear the families of LGBTQI+ youth like mine. And I just wanted to say thank you. And for God's sake, don't go backwards, because I almost lost the most precious gift God ever gave me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Talk about tough acts to follow. Hi, my name is Bryn Bixby. I am a proud alumna of RHS, class of 96. I'm a proud big sister of a class of 99 grad, a class of 2008, class of 2009 grad, proud aunt of a trans niece who graduated RHS in 2022, and I have another niece and nephew who are attending this school here. My family is from here. I may not live here anymore, but when I heard that this was going on, I knew I had to come back to speak about this. My graduation, my diploma does not say Bryn Bixby on it. It has another name on it because I'm a trans woman, and that's not the name I was allowed to have in 1996. I assure you, I knew I was trans. I knew the consequences of coming out then, and I am so amazed every single day to see how awesome and brave these kids are who are coming out in high school, long before I even understood half of who I am. I volunteer with a youth organization that does a drop-in center for trans youth every week. I am constantly impressed with their self-awareness, their courage, and their power. I read this nuisance complaint from Awake, Illinois, so that you don't have to. The bee in their bonnet, the worst thing they could find is that a trans girl used the bathroom at Bolingbrook High School for 2.5 years without incident. And they think that is justification to try to rip federal funding away from VVSD. I've been fighting this fight long enough to know that if there was any actual harm caused, they'd have called it out. Like all the rest of these parent groups, this is more grift than grief. They are ignorant by choice. It's not that the existence of trans people and the reality of our lives hasn't been explained to them. It has, they don't care. This is just more pearl clutching from a Naperville busybody who has so much spare time and spare money that she thinks her obsession with teenagers' genitalia is the biggest problem you face in your life. As someone whose family still lives here, I know there are real problems facing the residents of VVSD, and the existence of trans kids ain't it. This kind of moral panic is not new. These people haven't changed their tactics, they've just changed their targets. I am so proud to see so many of you here who understand that trans people have always been a part of our society and have never been a threat. People who have shown up here to show these out-of-towner moral panic peddlers who are carpetbagging here tonight to tell their lies and create nonsense hysteria because they think they found a new target for their tired old playbook. The same playbook that didn't work on gay people, 1970s through 2000s, D&D players, heavy metal rock and rollers, and daycare workers in the 1980s, comic books in the 1950s, long hair in the 1960s, the existence of black people, 1619 to question mark. The existence of Jewish people, 33 AD to question mark. The existence of every kind of immigrant, 1870s through question mark. The hate and the fear are their trade in coin, their coin and trade. That is what they need from you. They need your hate, fear, and continued ignorance. And I am so proud to be a graduate of VVSD 365U tonight to see all of you telling them that you don't have any hate, fear, and ignorance to give them. All of their arguments are garbage and they know it. But they're banking on you not recognizing that, they're not banking on you recognizing it this time, now that they're targeting a group that has always been here, but most of you are only learning about now, again. I was always taught to live and let live, but they want to live and destroy anyone who doesn't live like them.
Can you start to wrap up your comments, please?
Pardon me?
Can you start to wrap up your comments, please?
Yes, this is the end.
Thank you.
They're trying to protect a very narrow way of life, and we're just trying to protect our lives. Thank you all.
Good evening, members of the board and community members. My name is Reem Townsend. I'm a mom of 3 children, a 16-year-old son, a 12-year-old stepson, and a 3.5-year-old daughter. I'm also a DuPage Township trustee. Per the Trevor Project, a nonprofit organization focused on suicide prevention efforts among non-heterosexual youth, conducted a study and found anti-transgender laws caused up to 72% increase in suicide attempts among transgender and non-binary youth. One of the reasons my husband and I purchased our first home in Bolingbrook is because this community values diversity, not just in words, but in action. It's one of the few places where inclusion is treated as a foundation, not a threat. I'm here to support Valley View School District's affirming policies for transgender, non-binary, and gender-diverse students. These policies reflect what makes our community strong: compassion, equity, and a commitment to doing what's right for all students. That's exactly what groups like Awake Illinois want to dismantle. Awake Illinois is not a concerned parent group. It is a hate group pushing a dangerous agenda built on fear, misinformation, and bigotry. They are targeting LGBTQ+ kids and trying to roll back protections that save lives. They don't represent Bolingbrook, they don't represent Valley View School District, and they don't get to define what this community stands for. Valley View School District has led with courage and care. Please keep standing firm. Don't let hate disguise itself as concern. Our kids deserve better, and so does this community. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Hello, board members and community. My name is Barbara Parker. I am a Bolingbrook resident, and my grandchildren have gone through Valley View School District and are doing very well for themselves. So I appreciate the education they got. I hope the board will continue with the process that they made going forward with these affirming actions for all of our students, but especially our trans students who sometimes get bullied in school, get bullied in the community, but they know they always have the back of the school board for them. Don't let any interloper come in here and tell us what our community needs. We know what has been working for us, and we hope that you will continue on that path. Thank you, and have a good day.
My name is Charlotte Drugan, and I live at 164 Seabury Road in Bolingbrook. I have lived in Bolingbrook for 60 years, 6-0. I taught 3rd grade at John R. Tilbert Elementary School for 30 years. And my message is, haters come and go. And this school board has always supported all kids in all ways possible. So I'm proud to be a part of this community and say, keep up the good work.
My name is Peter Rivera. I'm a resident, taxpayer. I'm a proud gay man, standing here with my husband. I was once a scared LGBTQ kid in a world that told me that I shouldn't exist. Now I'm a happy LGBTQ adult, but I'm also deeply concerned. It has come to my attention that several SPLC-identified hate groups, including Awake Illinois and the so-called Moms for Liberty, have begun targeting school boards in our area for supporting LGBTQ inclusive policies. Let me tell you something. I've dealt with these monsters before, and they are monstrous when you get to know them. Last summer, Awake Illinois and Moms for Liberty hosted a conference right over in Bolingbrook, promoting anti-trans hate and conversion therapy, which is just a polite term for psychological torture. They partnered with the so-called Illinois Family Institute, a group with a long, disgusting track record of anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. Here's who we're talking about. These are the people. This is what's in their heart, these supposed Christians. We need, quote, we need to find ways to bring back shame to those practicing homosexual behavior. That's from IFI's former director. Quote, there was something profoundly good for society about the prior stigmatization of homosexual practice. Quote, they weren't acquiring and raising children. That's their school policy advocate. That's what's in their heart. These are the kinds of people pushing this agenda. These are the voices trying to infiltrate our meetings. These groups call LGBTQ people groomers while openly quoting Adolf Hitler in their own materials. A Moms for Liberty newsletter read, and I quote, he alone who owns the youth, gains the future. Let that sink in. This isn't just hateful. This is dangerous. These people don't want LGBTQ kids to exist. And when forced to choose between happy queer kids and dead kids, they have made their choice. They want dead kids. They want fear in our classrooms. They want ignorance in our curriculums. They want silence where there should be support. But here's the truth. LGBTQ kids exist. They are not going away. And they have every right to feel safe, to learn, and to thrive. Valley View, I am asking you, please, stand firm. Expand your inclusive policies and protect your students, all of them. Children are not property, no matter what some people might think. Not of the state, not of their parents. Sure as heck not any of these hate groups. They have the right to know their own bodies, their own identities, their own history, and the truth about the world that they live in. This board has a moral and a civic duty to protect those rights. Do not back down. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Jerry Rivera, Bolingbrook, and I stand before you today not just as a member of this community, but as someone who has lived the weight of intolerance and survived it. In recent weeks, groups like Awake Illinois have made it their mission to attack the inclusive, student-centered values upheld by this district. They claim to be defending children, but in truth, their rhetoric endangers the very students they claim to protect. LGBTQ+ youth are not political pawns. They're our children, our neighbors, our students, and they deserve safety, affirmation, and the right to be themselves without fear. I'm here tonight because I know what it's like to grow up in a world that tells you, be yourself, but not like that. I came out at 18 to a religious, traditional household. It wasn't easy, but over time, my family chose love. And that love gave me the strength to grow, to thrive, and to become the person standing before you today, married, grounded, and committed to building a better future for those still struggling to find their place. Many students today are coming out earlier, not because they're confused, but because they're finally seeing visibility and support in their schools. That's something to be proud of, not something to fear. Valley View has taken steps in the right direction by creating inclusive spaces, but the fight is far from over. I urge you, stand firm in the face of hate. Do not allow fear-mongering and misinformation to undo the progress you've made. Instead, expand it. Strengthen protections for LGBTQ+ students and staff. Offer training for faculty on inclusivity and mental health support. Create forums where students can speak, be heard, and shape the policies that directly affect their lives. I'm a survivor of a school shooting, and I know firsthand that schools should be sanctuaries. The students in this district deserve to walk into their classrooms knowing that they'll be seen, heard, and protected, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. There are those who say that inclusion is controversial, but the truth is inclusion is essential. Safety is essential. Love and acceptance, those are the values that strengthen a community. Let this district be a model for others. Let Valley View show Illinois and the nation what it looks like to lead with courage and compassion. Thank you for continuing to fight for every student, and thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Shannon Adcock, and I am founder and president of Awake Illinois, a social welfare advocacy organization. A couple things I didn't expect to say, but a lot of people here are trying to define my organization. They're trying to define me. I'm not here to define anybody. I'm not. And I don't hate anybody. I've been very respectful. I want you to understand, I don't hate anybody. I come in here at all of these speaking engagements, and I have to tell you, you guys, it's not easy. I have people take one look at me and they hate me because they think that I hate them. That's not true. And I want to make this very clear. Please show respect. I show respect. Please reciprocate. So I applaud everybody's First Amendment right to free speech. You're free to not like me. I wish I had more time to correct the lies and misinformation, but it's not easy for me to stand here. I don't come here as a hobby. I have to make arrangements for my children to not be home if my husband is not there because of threats. But I'm here because a man in this district, a father, approached me asking for help. I'm responding to somebody's appeal for help. And I gotta tell you, in this time, you guys, it is not easy. You talk about enough is enough and rejecting the status quo. It's tough right now. But I respect everybody's First Amendment right to free speech. I appreciate hearing everybody's story. Everybody has a story. And mine is that for 5 years full-time now, I have done my part out of conviction to do the right thing for children. It's been mentioned on April 6th, we filed a federal Title IX complaint against the school district. Our complaint alleges systemic violations of Title IX, and we assert that this district's failure to implement and enforce policies designating restroom facilities by biological sex, among other deficiencies, contravenes federal law. It endangers student safety and risks termination of federal financial assistance. Our complaint can be viewed at awakeil.com. There was a list of things that were mentioned. That's not our list. That is the list of a district parent and the grievance that was filed that was attached as an exhibit, to be clear. So we do plan to continue filing civil rights complaints with the goal of affecting statewide policy shift. Our concern is for the nearly 2 million children in K through 12 schools, all of these children. I would like to say I applaud this district father, Jim, for advocating for his daughter and for the children of this district. We're honored to come alongside you, Jim, and this community of concerned parents. So some key facts. This hasn't been mentioned, but Title IX mandates that no student, male or female, can be subjected to discrimination based on biological sex in any education program or activity receiving federal funds. So Title IX is a federal law that holds higher power than state law when federal funding is attached. That's an important nuance for a policymaking board. Number two, in January, U.S. District Judge Reeves vacated Biden's Title IX amendments stating, quote, throwing gender identity into the mix eviscerates the statute and renders it largely meaningless, end quote. So gender as a concept is not current federal Title IX policy. Additionally, this month, the Department of Education and the Department of Justice formed a special task force to investigate the flood of Title IX complaints that they are receiving. So our complaint is substantiated by student and parent testimonies. It identifies multiple violations, and foremost is that what it highlights is the district's failure to designate and enforce restroom facilities strictly by biological sex, given the fact a biological male is being permitted to utilize female bathrooms at the high school. So this has led to documented incidents of student discomfort and safety concerns, which increases district liability. So failure to address the Title IX violations will invite severe repercussions, including the termination of federal funding for non-compliant institutions, which would mean $20 million in this district's case. So I've learned over the last 5 years, government and bureaucrats care about two things. Number one, getting money, and number two, getting more money. So our complaints are going to be a tool to effect swift policy change, or else you don't get the money. Let me be unequivocal. This complaint is not about subverting one student population for another. That's what they're trying to do. It is not us versus them. There is no one student population that's more important than the other. It's about upholding federal law to provide clear, safe, and consistent policies that serve all students, male and female, without ambiguity or exception. Framing this as anything else distracts from our shared obligation to protect every student's rights. We must protect all children from continued exploitation. All children are vulnerable. As my friend Billboard Chris says, there are two sexes, zero genders, and infinite personalities. I celebrate every personality that this district is teaching, but we have to keep these children safe. So I implore you to be compliant with the OCR, or you're going to have some significant enforcement headed your way. On behalf of Awake Illinois, I'm Shannon Adcock, and we cannot be canceled.
Good evening. I want to thank the board for allowing me to speak. My name is Laura Hoyce. I'm a resident of Downers Grove, a mother of four, a lawyer, and the co-chair of Awake Illinois' Downers Grove chapter. My son and I were among the 700 plaintiffs in the 2021 lawsuit that freed us all of wearing masks and thankfully, and being under quarantine during those COVID years. And I know we can all breathe easier for that tonight. I am here to I'd like to
Folks,
have the floor, please.
let us speak, please. Thank you.
As I said, the masks are off. Now it's time to get the boys out of the girls' bathrooms in our schools. I have good news, and that is in these United States of America, we have equal protection of the law. Trans individuals have the same rights as everyone else, as you or I or heterosexual. They have the same rights under the United States of America. What happens when certain classes are given preference in the case of a boy being allowed to enter a girl's bathroom is that there's favoritism being shown to that individual that enters the bathroom, where the girl who is confronted with that situation, it's suggested that she find another place, another private bathroom to use instead of that one. That is giving preference to one over the other, and that's not what we're about in the United States of America. We're about equal protection of the law, and everyone has equal rights. So I am here to support the father of the Valley View student who came face to face with the boy in the girls' bathroom. Our current President Trump is restoring moral values, common sense, and our freedom to speak.
Folks, hey, folks, stop, please.
President Trump's executive order 14168, issued January 20th, 2025, clearly states that sex does not include the concept of gender identity. Yet there are some who think that intrusion into private spaces should be allowed. I'd like to share, just briefly, my own personal experience. In the state of Illinois, during the last 2 years, there have been 3 occasions where I have confronted an individual who is not of the female sex in the female bathrooms at rest stops in Illinois.
Address your comments to the board, please.
Rest stops in Illinois where there is no security provided. In 2 of those 3 instances, the feet under the stall, which I couldn't help but see, were about 12 inches long. They're a size 12, 13 shoe, and I'm a small person. So that is an uncomfortable situation that arouses fear, and I didn't find it funny when it happened to me. Just 3 weeks ago, I encountered a 6-foot man in the women's locker room at Downers Grove Park District facility, where I had finished a class and was preparing to shower. I went to my locker at the far end of the locker room, opened up the locker, glanced to my left, and I saw this 6-foot man there, standing right next to me, and quite a bit larger. I was shocked. My heart pounded. I couldn't believe this was happening. I had been preparing to take a shower, but then I realized I can't take my clothes off and go to the shower door because it's right next to him on the other side. So I was faced with a situation where my right to be in that locker room was being diminished by the 6-foot man who decided that he must have believed he was a woman, so he was there and prevented me from my comfort, my privacy. After some time, he turned and he walked toward the toilets, entered the handicap stall, and he remained there for quite some time because I waited, because I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. So I exited the locker room, waited for him to come out of the locker room, and identified him politely to the front staff and said, "That gentleman dressed in that clothing is a man, and he was just in the women's locker room." In my mind, that's wrong because it affected my right to do what I needed to do. I'm a taxpayer, I'm a constituent, I am a mom, I am a small person, and it was not appropriate. So they did not respond, and that is my example. So I cannot imagine being in the shoes of a student who is vulnerable, inexperienced, unprepared, uncomfortable, faced with a boy in the girls' bathroom. It just should not happen. Valley View School District is violating Title IX.
Please wrap up your remarks, ma'am.
Policies have caused great harm and injustice to students and parents. The district is has refused to accept Biden's 2024 Title IX rule that is now dead.
Please wrap up your comments.
ISBE guidance allowing transgender students to enter. I'm being interrupted, so my time is.
Well, you're
enter
running
to
over
intimate
time.
Facilities. The district has no stated policy allowing a boy or boys to enter the girls' bathroom. This is a unique situation where an IDP is involved. It's subjecting taxpayers of the district to liability for failure to comply with the law.
Please conclude your comments. We're going to have to ask you to quit.
With care.
If you want to give your written testimony to the clerk, we'll take that. But please wrap up
I'm
your
going to
comments.
wrap it up. Thank you. And it's not recognized the danger to the students that is posed by this situation.
You're not stopping. Please wrap up your comments. Observe. We're trying to ask everyone,
I urge you to
give the
comply
same
with the federal
courtesy
law.
that everyone else
It's
is
not
given.
being complied with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, I have to follow that. That's crazy. Anyways, my name's Adam Mavey. I am a product of the Valley View School District, graduating in 2002. And so that's why I'm here. I am here because throughout the 23 years since I've graduated, I've seen this district flourish and grow toward acceptance. I know I couldn't come out in 2002. That was crazy. Even I thought of suicide at that point if I tried to do that. So I just kept quiet until that fateful June hot day where we graduated and everything was good. I really want to say good job. I had to deal with my brother growing up into the school system directly as I graduated high school. He came in through kindergarten. And so I got to see it all grow again. And it was great. Everything seemed to be on par for progress and as far as acceptance toward this, that, and the other thing. But I just want to say thank you so much and for allowing the plant to grow positively rather than negatively, where you could have easily have said, we wash our hands a bit, we want to be this one way, we'll be the villain, you be the hero savant, and I'm just happy that you guys allowed for inclusion and everything as far as that for the LGBTQ community, in which something I could not afford to do when I was in school here. So thank you again, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their night, and I hope that progress continues to go toward the right way instead of the way that our president wants, which would be, us not having anything at all. I mean, fiscally, he is carrying us a new one. So I do hope that you guys don't have your budgets cut because of it. So just have a good night.
I did not plan on being here today. I am Eric Cornelis. I am a resident of unincorporated Plainfield. I was in VVSD K through 12, and I was at losing.
Can you state your name, please?
Erica Ornelis.
Thank you.
And I was here at VVSD K through 12. This very stage is where I learned to be a thespian and love acting. And this very building is where I met my first trans friend when I was only in 6th grade. We were in gym, free period, and he just said, I think I'm a guy. And you're like 11, 12, so you're just like, yeah, sure, what's your new name? I helped him pick his name. And I went home, I told my parents. And I had to be the one to teach them what it meant to be trans and what it meant to love trans kids. When I was only in 3rd grade, I realized I like my best friend a little bit too much. And a lot of these people who are not fans of trans kids or queer kids love Christianity. I am a born and raised Catholic. My father is a Mexican Catholic, from one of the most conservative areas in Mexico. The first person I came out to when I was 9 was my priest, and he said, "That's how God made you." I'm lucky enough to have the fight for being a queer person in my family already fought by my uncle. He passed away in 2011, but I'm still here. My family, when my friend had to come out to his parents, they did not like it. We were on the verge of having to take in a 5th kid to feed because his parents didn't understand. Even though my parents didn't fully understand what it meant to be trans, they were still willing to take money out of their own paychecks because somebody else didn't want to take the time to learn. Now, my parents know even the smallest bit of trans terminology. Most of my friends are trans. I don't know why, but that's just how it is sometimes. And they've always been here. And no matter how much hate there is, there always will be here. A lot of people think trans is a recent thing. It is not. One of the first people to undergo gender reassignment surgery had it in 1931. People thought she died when the Nazis, let their ignorance get ahead of them and burnt down an entire institute dedicated to research on queer people. She didn't. She lived to be 74 in 1966. Her name was Dora Richter. The first trans person to be on Vogue was not recently. It was in 1960. Even in American history, a good friend of the controversial General Custer was a trans woman who was known as Mrs. Nash. They have always been here. People might not have always liked them, but even in times where people wanted us dead, trans and queer people alike, we are still here. We will always be here. And VVSD is for every learner, and that includes our trans learners. I want to thank Elena because her daughter was the friend I liked a bit too much as a kid and made me realize I was gay. You raised a wonderful daughter, and you are a wonderful mother, and I consider you my second mother. So when I get off this stage, I am giving you a big hug. And I just want to say, for the love of God, and I will do this to my last breath, I will protect every single trans kid and adult, no matter how old they are when they come out, because everybody deserves a shot at life, and so help me God, so do our trans kids. Thank you so much.
Good evening, board members. My name is Tanya Lee, and I'll make this quick. As the parent of a trans child who has endured all sorts of attacks and bullying, I want to thank you for following the Illinois state law and showing these kids that there are still plenty of adults out there who are willing to do the right thing. These kids are witnessing so many people abandon their claims of wanting to save the children because when it comes to children that they apparently just don't understand, they choose to hate instead. Instead of trying to understand, they turn to attacks against these kids' very existence. During a time when attacks on trans rights, ranging from locally to federally, are on display constantly, I look for the good news to share with my kid. Stories like VVSD enforcing the rights of its trans and gender nonconforming students. Stories of folks showing up to all sorts of school board meetings just like this to defend and support these vulnerable humans who so badly just want to exist in peace. We need more stories like that. So again, I just want to thank you for being on the right side of history. These kids need your support now more than ever. Please keep it up.
Good evening. My name is Asha McMaher, and I'm the Executive Director of Trans Upfront. And even though I'm not a resident, my organization was invited 17 times in 30 minutes to the school board meeting after the release of this questionable organization. put out their notice. On top of that, we were then contacted another 47 times by residents to show up and be here. So we were invited here by people who are here today to come and stand with the community. Now, I haven't heard that from anybody else in this building that this group was actually invited here. However, I would like to combat some misinformation. One, Illinois Human Rights Law Act states under Section 3B1 under restrooms that your discomfort does not supersede anyone's rights. You have the right to ask for other accommodations if you feel uncomfortable for any reason, whether it's religion, it's bigotry, it's hatred, it's whatever you're teaching your children to be bullies, I don't know. But you have the ability to ask for other accommodations, but you don't have the right to remove someone based on their gender identity. If that doesn't work for you, you need to leave Illinois. This is a sanctuary state. I was in Deerfield last week, and unfortunately, one of your people here today let us all know that they're on a school board tour to torture trans kids. They're going from school district to school district, specifically uninvited, to spread hate. We are here today as we handed out resources. You can scan that QR code, learn all about studies, education, terminology, about acceptance of each other. We stand here, my organization, Trans Up Front, as well as the families and children we serve. We specifically work with trans and gender nonconforming youth from the ages of 4 to 25 and their parents. And the reason that we do that is that we know, regardless of Trump's administration, they're the most at risk. And despite that we heard today that there are no studies, we all know that's provably false. We know that when a trans child is affirmed, they have the ability to reach the amazing outcomes, the amazing things that they can do in their young lives. They can become productive members of society. They can be involved. They can be an attorney, hopefully not a hateful one. They can be a doctor. They can be an artist, right? They can be anything because trans children are just children. And also to combat, since the beginning of time, there were intersex people. There are not two sexes. Biology says otherwise. There are chromosomal differences, so this whole rhetoric that there are only two sexes is provably false by biology. Back in the day, called being a hermaphrodite, not an okay term to use anymore. These people have existed forever. Trans people have existed forever. So I am so happy to be invited here by so many of the families here. I'm so happy I'm coming to a school board. I don't have to say, why are you doing the wrong things? Because I got to do that sometimes too. And I'm going to end this in the same way I ended Deerfield, which is when we come together and we're protecting trans youth, we always say, what do we do when trans kids are under attack? We stand up and fight back. Thank you.
First of all, I want to say my name is Quincy Crump. I'm actually not from here. I am from Homewood, and I really appreciate getting the opportunity to speak, even though I'm not in this district. I want to give you, the board and everyone here, 2 lives that went 2 different ways. I am a transgender man, and I came out in high school, and I lived in a small, very conservative, rural Missouri town at the time. And I had every bit of the support that I needed from my school. My teachers, my principal, they did not hesitate for a second to support me and help me as I transitioned and adopted, new pronouns, and to let the teachers know that that's what should be used. I had a way easier time of it than I could even have imagined. I was ready to, stomp through hell to get what I needed, but I didn't have to because of boards and principals and teachers from schools not too different from this one. And because I had that support at school and I had that support at home, I thrived. I'm doing well. I am recently, I graduated from grad school, and now I'm a counselor, and I love my life as I have made it, and I could not have made it by myself. Thank you. And the other life I want to give you to think of today is one that is with me all the time, even though he is not here with us on this earth anymore. A dear friend of mine in that same school who had the same support at school as I did, but he did not have the same support at home. He was treated terribly by his birth family, and then again his foster family, and third, his adopted family. All three families he had let him down. And the year after we both graduated, we were in the same year, he took his life. And now I always carry him with me because, for one, he was my friend and I loved him. And second, because I know how different it could have been for me. And there, by the grace of God, go I. So I want to thank this board. Thank you. I want to thank this board and everybody who came out and all the things you do. Thank you.
Hello, I am Wyatt Miller. I am a former student of Valley View Public Schools, Bolingbrook High School graduate, Dr. Paskevich in the audience, my principal. I'm at Joliet Junior College now, and sadly, what is happening with this Board of Trustees, what has happened in school boards across the country extends to community college boards too. They also struggle with a few of these special interest groups trying to come in, challenge their Title IX funding. Yes. I would like to, while I'm here, illuminate for the board a few of the sleight of hand tricks that these hate groups like to play. First, they say that it's about bathrooms. They pretend it's about bathrooms. I've got a beautiful study here from UCLA School of Law that shows that when trans people can't go to the bathroom that they need to go to, guess what? 60% of them stay home. 9% of trans students trans people forced to go to the wrong bathroom face removal or verbal harassment. These are people that, frankly, are not going to perform well in school if they're being harassed, if they can't pee. If they're forced out of both bathrooms, they cannot pee. And that doesn't help with their math tests. And I know math scores reflect on school boards. This is not about bathrooms. This is not about women's rights. It is about removing people that other people don't like to see from public life. A lot of people have been up here and have said a lot of things, and it might seem like we're talking in circles, but we all have to thank the board for standing up for people the way you have. And we all have to stand up for the people we love. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Allison Humphreys. I go to Bolingbrook High School, and this is my friend, Sophia Miller.
Speak into the microphone. There you go. Pull it down if you have to. There you go.
I am Allison Humphreys, and this is my friend, Sophia Miller. We both go to Bolingbrook High School, and she's just up here for support. I was too anxious to come up alone. And I just know that The GSA at Jane Addams definitely helped me. It helped me make friends when I felt completely alone. And even though I had the support of my parents and my family and every single teacher that I have come into contact with, I was still afraid, but every single piece of support matters because some people don't get that support at home. And that just makes it a much more dangerous place to live, a much more scary place to live when you can't express who you are. And that's basically all I have to say. Please, please support us. We need your help right now.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Scott, and I've been a faithful educator here in Valley View for 21 years. I'll let the board know you'll probably see me again because my intended message tonight was one of a more personal matter and more affecting my colleagues. So I wasn't going to speak, but then I said I had to. You see, Valley View says we are committed to supporting every learner every day. And I want to let you know that your faculty and staff are standing strong to that charge. We do that every single day. Those are not just words, are not just a motto. They're encrusted in our hearts. So on behalf of myself, my colleagues, the board, and everyone in Valley View, please rest assured, your children, our students, belong, they are valued, and they are loved. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Moreno. I am currently a junior at RHS, and I am 16 years old. I have lived in Romeoville for my entire life. And it was kind of an impulse decision coming up here, but I just wanted to say that none of us are enemies in this room. And I think that that gets lost among a lot of people in this room. From what I've heard with a lot of booing and yelling and lots of cheering for the side that we're obviously on, which is not a bad thing, but I wanted to say that none of us are enemies, and we're all here for a common goal, which is for protecting our children, myself included. Like I said, I'm only 16 years old, and I think that the best medicine is definitely kindness. And that goes for either side. I myself am a Trump supporter, although I'm not a legal voter. And I know that a lot of you may disagree with that, and that's okay. Like all of you have said, all of these differences are what make us unique. And it's not these differences that should be setting each other apart. These differences do definitely empower us to speak up here, and it's something that's very important. When somebody else is speaking, nobody should be putting them down, regardless of your feelings against them or what their beliefs may be. So in the future, please be respectful and kind towards everybody, regardless of your orientation or your sexual preference or whatever it may be. Coming from a student, and I know that this is a lot from being at RHS, but to be honest, nobody cares. Nobody cares if you're trans or if you're gay or if you're black, white, pink, or even a unicorn. It does not matter. And I think that that's something that gets lost. We all need to be kind towards everybody, regardless of what they believe. Like I said, I do believe I'm going to be a Republican when I grow up, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with me, and you don't have to disagree with me. And that's okay. That's your stance. But please be respectful towards everybody that's coming up here to speak tonight, because it's not an easy thing to do. That's all I have.
Hi, my name is Jim Fisher. I cannot get anybody to pay to do what that lady in front of me just did. We are all part of the same community. I've been here when I was the only parent in the crowd. Every one of these people know who I am and how I stand. And so there's a lot of people that are guests, not being treated nicely. And there's a lot of people out there that's coming out because they believe in certain positions. So I would say again, let's go a little more detail, back to the script here. 20-year resident of Bolingbrook. I have 2 sons that made it through this district and graduated. They're in college now. I have 1 daughter still in the district. And another thing I want to add is I know people that are speaking pro, against, and they're part of the community. They live here. So it's not just the folks that are coming in to try to state their point. Okay, so my Bible reference is John 13, verses 25, 27. Look it up. I'm not going to quote it. In speaking with Dr. Keith Woods, he shared that I say the same thing at every board meeting over the last 4 months, over and over and over again. And so I will mix it up a bit tonight to present what I have today. Tonight's theme probably should have been Star Wars. I missed it, right? So it's Jurassic Park. I watched the movie this weekend. In the opening scene, a dinosaur eats one of the employees. Unfortunate for that man. The next scene shows a lawyer walking around saying that the family of that person that died is subject to a lawsuit for Jurassic Park for $20 million. Imagine that. Let me pick apart about that. $20 million is what this school district gets a year from the federal government. And in my head, maybe it's whacked, if you follow the federal government laws, then the money comes to you. But if you do not follow the federal government laws, such as taking away women's rights, then you don't get the money. 11% of the budget of this school comes from the federal government. I also want to reintroduce the people that came out here for the guests I have, which is Shannon. She was here in spirit 3 years ago when me and many other family members came to you to take the masks off our children in school. Your full response was, thank you. Your full response was no. Well, the parents partnered with that organization, Awake Illinois, and actually sued this place, and that, along with 171 other districts, they lost the lawsuit. And there's a lot of board members here that have been sued. And soon after that, the masks came off in this district. So they're not new. They didn't just show up today. They've been here before. They've got a track record of success of protecting students. Back to Jurassic Park. Question for the students. Why can't anyone sue Jurassic Park for Title IX violation? Pretty simple, because all the dinosaurs are female. Okay, I went to church yesterday. And again, John 19. Steve, can you control the audience? Thank you. John 19, 25 to 27. The preacher preached about that. I'm saying it tonight because it's reflective of what we are doing tonight. You got to stand up sometimes for other people's rights. That's what I'm doing. That's what they're doing. You guys got to come up with a happy medium to allow everybody to coexist in this school. You're not doing it. You're breaking the laws now.
Please bring your remarks to a close. We're
Yes,
running
I
slightly.
got.
Thank you.
And one of the things he said is sometimes you have to hear things twice. And I did it twice. First, I filed a grievance against this district. And that was on March 20th. Second, me and other parents partnered with Awake, Illinois to file a civil rights complaint against this district.
So please, I'm aware, so please.
I'm getting interrupted. Can you?
Please bring your remarks to a close, sir.
So, my request for or assignment with the people in this crowd is to read that verse and, celebrate the religion for which they worship. And I appreciate your time, and I will expect the federal government to be involved in future discussions. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Isabel Scott. I am 17 years old. I have lived here in Bolingbrook all 17 years of my life, and I am a junior at BHS. First, I would love to thank my school and my district for supporting all of me and my friends. There is not a day that goes by in VVSD where I feel as though one of my friends is in danger because of a teacher or an administrator. They have consistently supported all of us from elementary school. One of my first teachers that has ever supported me, Mrs. Zider, my first grade teacher, who said that I could go ahead and be the first female president, to my teachers now who are encouraging me to speak on what I believe. My best friend in the world is trans. My sister-in-law is trans. These people have helped define who I am as a student and as a person and as a community member. Community is so insanely important in what we do here in VVSD. Everything that I do is for my community, why I am here today, why I joined to be a student ambassador. I do it for my community. And I want to thank the community for being there for all of us. And I want to thank my friends for being there for me. We are here for education. But how can you have education when kids are fearful that their rights will be taken away? And I have heard a lot of hate, not just tonight, but in general. And with my religion, I grew up Jewish. The synagogue that I was raised in never once preached hate. We preached love for everyone who is LGBTQ, for every single gay member in my synagogue, in my temple, in my community. Never once have they felt out of place, and I do thank Rabbi C for that. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board and community, for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Sophia Valachi, and I am a current junior at Bolingbrook High School. I'm 17 years old, and I have lived in Bolingbrook my entire life. I'm so grateful to have grown up in a place that is so diverse. My mother was one of 3 black students at a Naperville school in the 80s, so I'm deeply grateful for my experience to have a diverse community in my halls. Throughout my time in this district, I have been fortunate to be guided by incredible educators, including Dr. Polson and Dr. Paskevich, who are in attendance today. Because of their support and dedication as my teachers, I have been able to take 6 advanced placement courses and 4 dual credit college courses that prepare me for a future in higher education. Thank you. There have been many public comments made recently, often by individuals who are not walking the same halls that we as students do every day, so I wanted to speak as someone who has firsthand experience. From the bottom of my heart, I can confidently say that Dr. Paskevich and the entire BHS staff have created an environment focused on learning, not hate. So I thank them for putting the students first. We recently took the ACT, and while that might not be the most enjoyable for us students, the majority can recognize the importance of it, and we understand that having access to opportunities like college entrance exams and dual credit classes is a privilege and a crucial step towards a higher education. As a student athlete who drinks a lot of water, I find myself in the restroom fairly often. With the new phone policies in place, I've observed that, as expected, kids will be kids, and most of the time when students are in the bathroom, they're either talking in small groups, maybe checking their phones, or simply just using the restroom. It is also important to mention that the bathroom stalls now have new privacy blockers that eliminate gaps, helping everyone feel more safe and secure. In addition, our hallways are always actively monitored by security guards who are frequently checking the bathrooms and helping make sure that the students are returning to class quickly, as education is the utmost importance at BHS. Thank you. From what I've seen and experienced firsthand, there is no widespread fear or concern among the students of sharing spaces with trans classmates. The concerns being raised seem to come from outside voices, not from within the student body itself. We know our peers and we respect them. At BHS, we are growing into young adults who value fairness, diversity, and empathy. These aren't just words, they're values reflected in our daily lives and reinforced by the example set by our teachers and staff. The culture we are building reflects the best of what education can offer, an environment where all students are respected and given the opportunity to succeed. Thank you again for your time in listening to a student voice.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Hayden, and I am a junior at BHS and a very proud Raider. I am also the product of 365, as my mother is a teacher in this district, and she has taught me what education is. And education is education. It should not be anything but that. Students are students. They are human. When we are cut, we bleed the same blood. It's not a matter of politics or personal beliefs. It's 2 + 2 and 3 + 3, and that's where it should be. Trans people are people, and that's a matter of fact and something we should all remember in these troubling times. While up here standing for who I am, I must recognize that I have some sort of privilege in this world. And I think in a world that was created for people who look like me, we should use this privilege to help those who are made to feel scared and feared by those who are out to get them. Sorry, I'm very nervous. This is my first time ever doing this. It is not an indifference. The amount of hate that has been spread in rhetoric about these people in our school community is not about a difference in appearance, favorite food, or preference. It is about a difference in core values and idea of human and civil rights. These should not be infringed on. As I have learned in my AP US History class, Title IX is meant to give people all equal opportunities, not on the basis of sex, but because they are human. And I think that is something we should all be remembering today. Thank you so much.
I don't know if I'm tall enough for this. Hi, my name is Kelsey Tanabe Walker. I'm a Bolingbrook parent. I have 2 kids. I am not allowed to say which one of them is which about anything because of the amount of intolerance that they've already experienced in their lives. I'm one of the original founders of Bolingbrook Pride. I myself am a bisexual, gender fluid woman, which actually I have never said out loud in front of people before. So that's weird. You know, so are my kids, and they're having to experience these sorts of things. When I was in high school, trying to go to homecoming, I think, I want to say 1997 or something like that, me and my girlfriend were denied our tickets. We weren't allowed to get tickets. We had to we had to have a boy come and buy tickets for us. It was embarrassing. It was shameful. It felt terrible. That my kids ever have to go through that sort of thing is horrendous. You know, we're Japanese, I'm first generation Japanese American anyway. I already have to be othered. My kids already have to be othered. All this is an example of forcing more excuses to other people. That doesn't help anyone, that hurts people. That makes people afraid. I am 42 years old and I just told a group of people for the first time about my gender identity. Like, that should never happen. It's shameful that we should ever have to feel that way. No one should ever have to feel that way. That's really all I have to say up here. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Colleen Erickson. I'm a retired teaching assistant for Valley View. I want to thank all of the board members. You have a wonderful district. It was an honor to work for this district. Wonderful teachers. I would just like to say, I have never seen my country so divided. Never. I'm old. The past 10 years, I've never seen so much division and so much hatred and so much exclusion. We can't teach DEI. We are getting rid of Black history. We are getting rid of women's rights. Every day, every single day, our Constitution is being violated. We are taking the rights away from our citizens, and now we want to take them from our children, who have every single child in this country has the right to come to school, feel safe, and have an education. I am just beyond in disbelief that we are making this an issue and threatening to take district funding. Oh my, I just can't believe it. You know, people coming here, I am a firm believer of separation of church and state. This is no place to be quoting the Bible. You go to church and you quote the Bible. You do not come to a public forum in a school and quote your Bible. Every single person in this country has a right to their own religious beliefs. And I'll tell you, I'm going to quote a president I really admired. He was a Southern Baptist, conservative. He was a great human being. And he said, this is for people quoting the Bible. There was always transgender people. There was always homosexual people in Jesus' time. There was probably, who knows, LGBTQ. And going back to Moses. But did Jesus ever say one word about a trans child or a homosexual? Did he come out and say anything about that? He did say something about divorce. He did say stuff about marriage, but he never once said anything about a poor transgender youth, child, or adult, or LGBT. And this country right now is going after the minorities and the most vulnerable citizens in this country. And I think you should all go home and think about how to unite instead of separate. Because you know what? It's taken your mind and your eyes off the real issues of what's really going on with these minor little issues. This is minor compared to what our country is going through right now. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Education. Good evening, the President, but good evening to all of you, and God bless you. Now, here I am, a Christian. I'm saying that because I keep hearing the Bible being quoted or at least referenced and saying things about someone who I love, which is Jesus. If I'm quoting the Bible, and please excuse me for those, I'm only doing this because it was quoted in different ways earlier tonight. Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Now, this is those who are believers. I do accept that. So if you're not a believer, I'm not trying to make you into one. Believe me, not at this. That's not what the goal is. The goal is, if we're quoting the scripture, let's quote the scripture. I will say there are differences of beliefs. There really are. And I know that there was a young lady who spoke earlier. I am not a Trump supporter, though. I don't want that to ever be please don't mistake me. No. I'm still of the position that he's a racist rapist, but that's my own personal position. Again, I'm not pushing that onto you guys either, but that is my own personal position. Now, all of this is all my personal stuff, but I think what the Board of Education has done with the policies it's put into place, they have actually taken the time to say, every learner, and that includes you, whoever you are, the Christian, the neither Jew nor Greek, the neither male nor female. They've taken into position that every learner deserves an education. And what does the actual vision say for our school district? It actually says not just that they get an education, but they're prepared for life. So we don't want to put in place policies that would lead to death. That goes against what we've already said in our mission statements. So there's actual factual studies that show that. And so we don't need to take those positions. And yes, reasonable accommodations are in the rules of the OCR. Reasonable accommodations are in the way that they implement Title IX rules. And so if those reasonable accommodations are being made and students are being protected, I don't think we've done anything wrong. So just make sure we have the factual each time they bring up something specific, I'm looking forward to our attorneys being able to dictate what we actually did and that we were standing with the law as well as with the students. So thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Jessica Parks. I am a parent of two amazing VVSD students. Thank you so much for your patience with all of us today. It's so beautiful to hear all of these voices speak. I just wanted to give a more personal experience to offer to you. I have two children in this district, and one of them is trans. And the experience that we have had all the way along, he came out when he was 4 years old. And the teachers didn't skip a beat. They reached out to us over summer break and made accommodations. We had a gender support plan in place. He started his year with his name being honored. He started his year learning how to play hopscotch and how to do math. And he did not one single day come home talking about being misnamed or mistreated. I have friends in other districts, and I can tell you that is not their experience. There is something spectacular about this district and the tolerance and the acceptance that you guys support and create. We are incredibly fortunate. My children are incredibly fortunate. Our children are incredibly fortunate to have all of you standing up for us. And I know it's scary when there's threats. Losing funding does affect all of our students, and I know that's scary. My child is alive and well and will continue to grow into an adult because of the policies that you support. Without you, without the things that you have created for your students, it doesn't matter if you have funding if you don't have students live to adulthood. And so thank you so much. It truly has a really human impact.
Hello. My name is Patty Drugan. I am also a very, very long time resident here in Bolingbrook. I am also coming up here today as a Christian. I want to thank you, young man, for everything that you said at the very beginning of this meeting. I am encouraged today by hearing not only you, but all of the rest of the youth in this room and all of the adults that actually get it. The stuff that the folks to my left are doing is not going to do anything but hurt the school district and the children in this community. I am so thankful for the board and the way that you have handled tonight and the way that you move the school board in making sure that every single student not only gets to learn their mathematics, their English, their history, but they learn how to be critical thinkers. They learn how to respect and honor one another. I think the fact of the matter is that when people call themselves Christians, they're forgetting a lot of things that Christianity does entail. The most important thing that God and Jesus taught us, the greatest of these is love. And unfortunately, my brothers and sisters to the left of me, they forgot that very important thing. You're not going to do anything but hurt Valley View School District and the children that are in our schools. I am so proud of Bolingbrook because we stood united tonight. The folks that don't even live here, in Bolingbrook want to come and disrupt. They want to be like the man that's sitting in the Oval Office right now and disrupt. They want to hurt our children. I didn't use the word hate, but what you're going to do is hurt our children. And I'm straight, and I'm still messed up with all the how to say the stuff correctly. And I am so thankful to my brother Peter and your husband as well for teaching me as we go along, because us old folks, we're just not getting it. And the fact of the matter is, I am also very encouraged at the fact that there is so many more of us than there are of them. So God bless you. Thank you for what you said, young man. I appreciate you, and I truly wish that you could repeat everything that you said verbatim, because, and I hope that we are ready for this battle, because they have President Boom Boom Cha Cha on their side, but they have not dealt with the citizens of Bolingbrook. So I'm ready to go to battle. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys.
So hello everyone, my name is Eleni Trejo. First of all, thank you to the board, thank you to the audience for your patience. I know it's 9:30 p.m. on a Monday, but just especially I would like to say that as an RHS ambassador, as a first-generation Latina, as a first-generation child of immigrants, as a friend, as an ally of people of color, as people that are part of the LGBTQ community, I support people that support me, people that support my friends, and I support people that do not record and stare down minors, even in a public setting. Because making anyone feel uncomfortable, making anyone feel that they don't belong is not what this district is. That is not the position that the ambassadors serve. That is not what my school at Romeoville High School serves. We support our people. And even if you think that you are not saying the word hate, hate is still embodying so much of what you say. Hate really is. And even as you shake your head no, hatred and trying to implement fear into people gains you nothing, because it only motivates us more. Because as a student, even if it's a law, I'm also Catholic. This is my third year teaching second grade communion classes at St. Andrews. And everything that I do at that school is to teach my students about love, to teach my students to love all the people around them, to love people in their community. And that, again, emphasize what someone said earlier, church is separate from state. That should be separate from what the state and from what law says. So even then, using law to justify separation, to justify hate, again, even if it's not the word that you're using, it's not right. Again, I'm an immigrant. I'm the child of immigrants, and I'm proud of that. I'm an ally, and I am proud of that. And all of that is still going to mean that I serve my people, and I'm always going to do that. I know that my fellow ambassadors, I know that my friend James, that is what he does. I know that that is what the district that I serve does. And that is what we are going to do for generations. So even again, the people to my left, if you want to keep coming, do that. Freedom of speech. But then we will also do that. And I know that, again, that's right. We all have the right to do that. And as long as there is hatred in this world, we will combat that hatred. We will be here time and time again to support our people and what we are. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sean Salisbury. I've lived in the district for 41 years. That's not a huge accomplishment, I assure you. Unfortunately, my subject is not what's been, so I'm changing it a bit. As this board has known since I've shown up a few times now, I paid $17,087.84 in taxes last time. We got another tax rate coming around. If I get assessed the 11.14% that my assessment's going up, put on my taxes, I'll be, I think, $9 short of $19,000, of which $10,608 go here. That's one side of the coin. I will make this short since I know it's been a slog, and I understand that. There are two items on the agenda tonight that I would encourage you to vote them down, quite frankly. Number one being a video board for the Bolingbrook High School, in the tune of $165,820. You get a $30,000 gift from the golf tournament that came to town. That's like giving a kid $5 and they go out and spend $100. Don't spend the extra $130. I would encourage you it's not necessary. It's not needed. One of the items on this flyer I got during election, by the way, congratulations to all the won their election, providing sound financial practices. Spending on things that are not necessary is not sound financial practices. The second item, and I am trying to zip through this, I promise, is replacing by my calculations, 21-year-old basketball court over at Bolingbrook High School. And I'm not sure which, and by the way, the video board was not a bid situation. It was just one, I think you guys call it a co-op. I don't know, I'm still learning your guys' lingo and so forth, but I think that's how that figure came about. You're spending about the same amount of money, maybe a little bit more depending on who you choose for the new floor. It's a 21-year-old floor. Surely it can't be worn out yet. I would encourage you and ask you as a board being fiscally responsible to please vote both of those items down. Thank you and have a good day.
With no one else, Mr. Larry doesn't want to speak. Dr. Larry. We will move down the agenda. I want to thank everyone for their comments. I particularly want to acknowledge the students that had the nerve to come up here and speak. As we all know, it's not easy. So, all right, moving down the agenda. Action reports, human resources. Ms. DiDonato.
Yes, thank you. Action for 10.1 is the Consolidated Action Report for Certified, Classified, and Administrative Personnel. The administration is respectfully seeking your approval on all items as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Buderis?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Job description.
Action for 10.2 is for a job description that was brought for review in March. Update for the Director of Multi-Tiered Support and Equity. The updates to this job description ensure alignment to the continued needs of our multi-tiered system of supports to provide equitable access to every learner in Valley View.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Buderis?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach? President Quigley?
Yes. 10.3.
Action for 10.3 is resolution number 2535, the authorization of dismissal of educational support personnel employees for reasons other than reduction in force.
Is there a motion? Motion. Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Buderis?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach? President Quigley?
Yes. Mr. Renich, Section 11, Fixed Assets Inventory.
11.1 Capital Assets Inventory. The Government Accounting Standards Board, GASB, requires government units to complete a capital asset inventory at least once every 2 years. To be compliant with this requirement, districts saw quotes for the service and determined that ITV appraisal is the most qualified to perform the necessary appraisal. Along with an independent appraisal, the district will also need to update its policy 480 on accounting and audits to include these provisions for capitalizing its fixed assets. The administration is recommending that the Board of Education approve the engagement with ITV in the amount of $19,000 for a capital asset inventory as presented.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Buderis?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Mr. Renich.
Bolingbrook High School is proposing the installation of a full-color video display board in the main gymnasium to enhance the student and spectator experience during athletic and school events. To ensure competitive pricing and compliance with procurement standards, the district solicited quotes through an approved purchasing cooperative. This project is being supported in part by the generous $30,000 donation from the Live Golf League. The administration is recommending that the Board of Education approve a contract with Sievert Electric in the amount of $165,820 for the furnishing and installation of the video board at Bolingbrook High School as presented.
So motion?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
I do have one question. I know a lot of these boards have ad revenue possibilities. Is that something that the district explored to recoup this cost?
I would have to look at our district's policies. Some districts have policies against advertisement or would have to have specific requirements and conditions on that. So I'd have to take a look at that and see, first of all, what our board policy is. Do we allow advertising? And we can consider that.
But it is something we could take a look at, correct? Thank you very much. Motion and second. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
No.
Member Heil?
No.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Buderis?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach? President Quigley?
Yes. High school gym floor, Mr. Renich.
At the February 10th, 2025 Board of Education meeting, information report was presented outlining the need for various capital improvement projects. Among the identified projects was the replacement of the gym floor. The existing floor is 20 years old and has reached its useful life. We did do a review of the replacement or repair of that and compare it to the cost. The cost replacement has been determined to be the most cost-effective and sustainable long-term solution. The administration is recommending that the Board of Education approve the contract with Stalker Sports Floors in the amount of $159,650 to provide new wood floor at Bolingbrook High School gymnasium as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion?
I'm assuming this is a different purveyor than from RHS's?
Correct.
Is there any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
No.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yep. Woodview Library renovations.
Also presented at February 10th board meeting was the information report for the capital improvement project. The one such project is the renovation and enclosure of the library at Woodview Elementary School. Currently, the library is located in an open space environment lacking both sound and physical barriers from adjacent hallways and classrooms. This layout presents a challenge in delivering focused and effective instruction to students and utilizing space. The administration is recommending that the Board of Education approve a contract with ECC Construction in the amount of $169,000 to renovate the enclosed library at Woodview School as presented.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Heil?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Action Superintendent for Educational Services, Dr. Polson. No report, correct? Thank you. Action reports, student discipline process, case A. Dr. Polson.
Yes, tonight we are seeking your approval for student discipline case A as presented.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion and seconded. There were three people motion for first, so somebody make the second.
Second.
Got it? Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Heil?
No.
Member Sutherland?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Superintendent's information reports. Dr. Polson.
Yes, excited to share with you this evening a quick update from the superintendent's office. So starting with, as our student ambassador this evening, James Estrada shared with us that it is a week of student spirit wear. So those of you that came out this evening, thank you for sharing along with us and being sports day. Tomorrow is dress for your future day. And then Wednesday is cultural fit day. And then lastly, if you could show up on Thursday for blue and white to represent. Next, in this very auditorium, on Wednesday the 16th, our annual elementary Battle of the Books is on, right here on this stage. If you haven't had a chance to see it before, it is an intense competition. Our young learners at the elementary level have been busy reading text and learning lots of facts, and they will come and show what they know here on Wednesday at 6 p.m. in this very auditorium. And as we've shared for a few weeks, the last few weeks, registration is open, not only for our kindergarten students, but all of our students. So if you are a family that has multiple learners returning for next school year, including a kindergartner, save some time and get everyone enrolled right now. And to share some celebrations from left to right, that you will see our Illinois Global Scholars on the left. They did a capstone classes at both Bolingbrook High School and Romeoville High School, where they donated to the community micro pantries in both the Romeoville and Bolingbrook communities. And they also packed meals for Feed My Starving Children. As in the middle, our superintendent, Dr. Wood, is showing off his favorite piece of literature as a kid. If you recognize it, you know that it is all about the caterpillars. So he had a chance to share that with some students at Independence Elementary. And then lastly, we joined forces from the Human Resource Department, as well as transportation, facility operations, and nutritional services for a job fair at Joliet Junior College. We have jobs currently open in Valley View. Please check out our website, and we hope that you'll look forward to joining our team soon. Some important updates coming. Our early release for our students are on April 16th and 30th. And then schools are closed for this 18th, the Friday, and this coming Monday, the 21st. And then our next board meeting is on April 28th. And lastly, as we start to close out the 24-25 school year, we have lots of celebrating to do. Our high school graduation ceremonies are taking place on May 18th. As well as our step exit ceremony on May 21st, and our middle school promotion ceremony as they start their journey into our high schools will take place on May 27th, and the tentative last day of school is on the May 28th, and that completes the update.
Thank you. Diligent Community, Dr. Polson.
Yes, for information, 14.2 is Diligent Community, is an update to our current board doc software. It is similar software, but the current platform is sunsetting, so it provides the same functionality for the public facing as well as for the board. We are looking to bring this back for action at the next board meeting with the anticipated cost of $19,800.
Thank you. Copiers, 5-year maintenance contract. Mr. Renich, it has to be right down your
Right up my alley here. On July 1st, 2018, the district entered into a 5-year production copier agreement with Gordon Flesch. This agreement expired on July 1st, 2023, at which time the board approved another 2-year extension to this contract. The devices are covered under this agreement and are now approaching 7 years and have reached their useful life. In response, the district is currently conducting an RFP, which is a request for proposal process to solicit and evaluate proposals for a new copier agreement. This is an informational report purposes only, and administration intends to present a recommendation for the board approval at the next regular board meeting.
Thank you. If you have questions about the copier contract, talk to Mr. Renich. Bus leases, 2025.
The district's 2020 bus lease agreement with Midwest Transit Equipment for 63 buses are set to expire on June 30th, 2025. Planning is underway to renew the lease for the 63 new buses that will continue to prioritize student safety. The new fleet will include key safety and operational features such as 3-point seatbelts, two-way radio communication, GPS tracking, and a comprehensive audio-visual coverage, including front-forward facing cameras. Additionally, special ed buses will be equipped with air conditioning. The district plans to depreciate the new lease over a 5-year period with a portion of depreciation eligible for state reimbursement. This report is information purposes, and administration plans to bring a formal recommendation to the Board of Education for approval at the next scheduled board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Renich. And assistive technology, iPads, Dr. Polson.
Yes, assistive technology, iPads, this is information item as well. We're seeking your approval at a future meeting related to assistive technology devices to support communication needs for our students with special needs. As a district, we serve all learners, including those who utilize different resources for communication purposes. The request includes hardware and software to support iPads with the anticipated cost of $80,810.
And if you have any questions on that, who should somebody talk to? You? Thank you. Moving down the agenda. Legal Services Report, Mr. O'Driscoll.
No formal report.
Thank you. Valley View 604. Apparently no report. Office Personnel 604. Moving down the agenda, Transportation. No report. Old business before the board. Any new business before the board? As always, Freedom of Information Act requests, FOIA requests are with Mr. Planey in the back and on our website. Thanks, sir. Any announcements by the board? Any announcements by the administration? Seeing none, hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Don't everybody hit their button at once. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Have a safe evening. And thank you again for all your participation.